Calling all units, calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.
Welcome back to the Donut Shop podcast. I am here actually in a donut shop again this time, but this time I'm at Parlor Doughnuts and I'm here with the owners of Parlor Doughnuts, Ed and Desirae. So what's up, guys? Welcome to the Donut Shop podcast. Thanks for hosting me on this episode. We're going to talk about opening this. It's a small business. It's part of a larger franchise across the country. Some of you may already know or recognize some of the logos. And then we're going to talk to Ed about military career, what's going on with that, and
Absolutely.
whatever else you guys want to talk about. Talk about waking up early in the morning and dealing with donuts right here.
Donuts.
So
the famous layer
Thank you
donut.
for having us, by the way.
of course.
No,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Thank you for having us. I know it's been man, I think we've been chatting back and forth for what, like almost a year now.
I should have looked back on my phone to see the first time, because you reached out to the Donut Shop podcast and you said, hey, would you ever want to do one? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. And you're like, well, we're not built yet. And I'm like, okay. And it's like the trials and tribulations of getting built and getting permits and doing all that stuff, which we can touch on, of
Absolutely.
course. And then, but now here we are, even later than we expected to be. You guys have been open for how long?
6 months.
6 months.
Has it only been 6 months? Okay.
In 2 days, exactly. Yeah. So March 15th. Now we're what? September 15th.
And great coffee as well. Great cold brew. But yeah, so you guys, yeah, we were talking and I kind of just ping you and just be like, yo, what's up? Like, what's the word? Because I was excited. I was like, all right, this looks cool. I looked up the brand and the company and stuff and looked through it. And I was like, it was cool. I was like, somebody asked me to do a podcast in their donut shop. So I was excited about it. And then it's just like, okay, all right, more delays, which I'm sure
Yeah.
is even way more frustrating for you guys. So,
No, definitely. I think the trials have been pretty challenging,
Yeah.
or the obstacles, I guess you could say, but it's been a heck of a ride so far. And the public loves the donut. Not
Yeah.
just because obviously we're invested in it, but they genuinely come in here and love the product.
No, I think my favorite part is watching somebody for the first time actually eat our donut
yeah.
in shop, and they just sit there and you can see it in their face. They're going,
Oh my
like,
God.
but every bite, they're just like, oh, I just so enamored with the texture and the flavor, and it just lights. I think I seen it light that up too to see
Yeah.
somebody
Well, and
really love the product.
and you get, I'm not going to knock it. You get a little messy when
Yeah.
you eat it. There's
Absolutely.
no safe way to eat it. I mean, unless
Messy's
you have
fun.
unless you have a tip to give me on how to safely eat
It's
it.
not.
Fork
But-
and a knife if you want. If you
Okay,
want, it's a little
yeah.
bit cleaner.
It's like eating pizza with a fork and a knife. I'm
Right,
sure you get
yeah.
made fun of.
Yeah.
But so there's, and then I think that's the other thing is like, once you go, I'm gonna get messy. Let's dig in or let's devour it. It's probably even more like childlike or kind of childish to feel like, and I'm eating a good donut.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So pretty cool. So you guys, like, this is a bigger company, as I said. You guys kind of got into it. How? Like, what really brought you into, wanting to do? It's a franchise. You guys are
Right.
franchisees.
Ed's entrepreneurial mindset is what got us
Yeah,
here.
I've, aside from being active duty military, I've always had this like knack for, hey, where can we make a couple extra bucks? I mean, left and right, where can we do something? Yard sailing, whatever, right? But it was March 2020, by luck, honestly, that we were in the Panhandle visiting my mom
Of Florida.
of Florida.
For the
Yep.
first time, I was gonna meet his mom when we were dating.
So March 2020, right before the COVID freaking madness.
Yeah, right. Yeah. March
Um,
17th
Mhm.
or 19th, I think, was when the world shut down.
Yeah. So we had rented a boat at the Air Force Base there. It's like, hey, let's get some donuts. We Googled a spot.
Mm-hmm.
It was closed.
Yeah.
And I was excited. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go here. It's where everybody goes. It's like the local spot.
Yeah.
And it was closed.
Yeah.
And I was like, this blows.
Yeah.
We Googled again. It's like Parlor Doughnuts. Never heard of this place. Let's go give it a shot. As soon as we walked in, I was like, wow. The military, decor, the flag, Hands down was like, man, this place is one beautiful. Let's get a box of 12. So we got a box of 12 donuts. Um, and as soon as we tried that donut, I was like, holy crap, man,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
Um,
compared everything thereafter to
Parlor Donuts.
Parlor
Yeah.
Doughnuts. We really
Even,
did.
you know, every time I walked in there, I was like, I never really been a guy like, oh, let me just buy a shirt from a donut shop.
Yeah.
And I didn't because they didn't have my size, but I was like, man, this material's great, high quality. Eventually I got one. And then we moved to San Diego in 2021. So at the time in 2020, there was only, I think, 2 shops in the country
Okay.
because the brand started in 19. Then in 2021, we moved to San Diego. There was 3 shops in the country.
hmm
Holy crap, there's another Parlor Donuts here.
Just they're
Right
like
by us.
they're following you.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
they're 100%
Yeah.
following
Yeah.
us. And I was like, man, this is a sign.
Yeah.
This is a sign, 100%.
Cool.
And then fast forward 22, sign an agreement, and here we are.
No, well, we were on a walk, like randomly
You
with
see,
our
there we go.
son.
This is why she's sitting
Yeah,
here, is
yeah. We
so
were
she
on a
can fill in
walk
the
with
real
our
story.
son, and he said to me, "Would you ever consider franchising?" And I'm like, "What is he thinking about? Like, what?" I said, "I don't know, because you're married to the brand. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm not just gonna say yes." And I said, "Well, I guess it depends. I would have to really believe in the product that we're gonna, essentially be married to, right?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, what about Parlor Donuts?" And I looked at him and I had the biggest smile on my face. I was like, "Well, yeah, Parlor Donuts. I mean, I haven't had anything bad anytime I've walked in there.
Yeah.
I mean, their coffee's great, the donuts are great." And so he was looking it up at the same time. He was getting his haircut. He was looking it up. I was looking it up outside, and we're Googling like franchising opportunities. And we were like, "Well, we'll do the Panhandle where mom's at." But then we realized somebody had that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
him and
Yeah.
I both were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Fort Lauderdale, like Broward County, that area is not even open." And
And
he was
nobody
like, "We
thought
should
of it.
apply. We should do that. They just opened franchising."
Yeah, so
And so we did.
they
We were the
started
33rd to sign.
franchising like 8 months before it popped into our heads. So we
Oh,
got
because they
in.
were like corporate stores where like
Yeah,
the
so the
company owned
Panhandle
them.
was
Yeah.
corporate.
hmm
The Oceanside location is still a corporate location. But yeah, end of 2021, I think they had started franchising. It's like November or December, something like that. And we thought about it in July or August of 22. So we started looking, like she said, let's do the Panhandle. Well, those are still corporate shops. Um, where can we go next that the military will more likely send us back to? I was like, well, I know the job that I'm going to get. I didn't at the time. I was like, well, I'm one of the only few qualified
Yeah.
people that is, good for this position that I'm going to put in for. So we put a lot of eggs in one basket, assuming the Coast Guard was going to send us back to South Florida. And a lot of my buddies are like, dude, you're crazy. Like, why would you sign this? You don't even know if you're going to be in South Florida just
Yeah.
based off what the Coast Guard wants to do. But
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get the job, and I did.
Hell yeah.
And she's from Miami,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hialeah area, so
Okay.
she's got
What's up?
I'm very proud to say, guys, I'm from Hialeah.
she's got the family here, which is great because we
Yeah.
have a 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old. In-laws are 20 minutes down the street, and they could help, when needed
hmm
or as they're available. So yeah, we chose Broward County
Cool.
to develop.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. So we're here, we're here in downtown Fort Lauderdale, or kind of upish downtown, whatever. So however Fort Lauderdale works, but Fort Lauderdale is kind of always changing, and it's changing more youthful nowadays. And it's part of this, you're in a building that's like a mixed use building because there's apartments above us and then there's retail space below it.
Yeah.
So it's cool. You get a lot of traffic from just the regulars, because I know when I was setting up, you guys are naming out almost every dog that walks by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly calling out the dogs. Don't really care
Those are
about
our
the humans.
favorite,
Yeah,
customers
Hey,
are
they're
the
customers
dogs.
too.
We
We
have
have
the
a
dog
dog donut,
donuts.
and
Yeah.
they come in and buy their dog donut like
right.
weekly.
I
So
know. I think I saw a dog donut today on the Instagram story.
yeah,
So it's like a little cookie, and the dogs come in here, and can they come in the store?
they
Yes.
can.
They can come
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
store and they pick out their donut of one, and
Yeah.
and then they
Yeah,
and then they get their
exactly.
donut and stuff. But yeah, you see everybody out here because we're on the corner, and everybody here is like walking by, walking their dogs, and they pop in and probably grab a coffee. Cause I know whenever I've stayed like in a downtown atmosphere, I live in the suburbs. So whenever I've stayed in a downtown atmosphere, it's always like, all right, where's a coffee shop? Cause I'm going to walk down from the hotel and get a coffee and stuff. And
Yeah.
that's exciting to me. That city life that I've always wanted to live in, but I have not lived in yet, and I probably will never. My wife and I were talking about it. We were going to do it for a year when she finished her master's. We were going to move down here somewhere and try and do it for a year, but then we were just like, why are we just going to waste our money that way and spend it?
Yeah.
So we haven't yet.
We actually started a Paws of Fame. And
Okay.
it's a little, well, I wouldn't say it's little. It's like that big wall when you walk in of Polaroid pictures of all the dogs that come in.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
we have their names, and when guests come in, and we usually know them and their coffees that they drink.
Mhm.
They buy them the donut. We take the picture. We put them up on the wall. It's been great. A lot of people are loving
I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their dogs
businesses
love it here.
usually like this and like breweries and stuff like that, when they have when they involve people and their dogs, especially if they're people that like bring their dogs out to things, it really makes it that like neighborhood feeling, or that
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of family feeling. So you guys probably get that a lot here now with the same repeat customers and the same dogs and
Yeah.
stuff.
You
So
get
it's
that connection. They have
yeah,
a connection now
it's
to the
cool.
shop, to us to them. It's great.
Yeah, and they come in and they order their Sunday donut
Yeah.
to have with breakfast.
Sunday
to
donut,
their
coffee, and dog
Sometimes it's
donut.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday donut, but that's okay.
Wow.
I'm not
So
here to
like,
judge.
would
I am
you
all about it.
like, you don't have to name names, but does anybody come in? Like, what's the most days in a row that you've seen somebody come in? Don't have to name names. We're not shaming anybody.
I've seen somebody come in every day for a week.
So 7
Easily.
days in a row.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, to where they've been like, I gotta stop coming in here, because they'll come in and go, hey, how you doing? And they're like, I gotta stop coming in here.
And it's a donut every day.
Oh, it's a donut
Yeah.
every day.
Wow.
I
All
had
right.
one guest
Solid.
who has come in every day right before work. After his workout, he gets himself and his boss a donut, and he went through all of our flavors, so the whole case, the 24,
Mhm.
and then circled back to get his favorite one. I hadn't seen him for a while. He actually stopped in today.
I saw that name
Yeah,
tag.
he actually stopped in today. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, we missed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And see, now you're trying to like draw him back in,
Yeah.
like we enjoy when you come in
He
here.
said the only reason he
Yeah.
hasn't come is because he was working and they had to start their shift like earlier, so he wasn't able to come. He's like, but that's done, so I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, I work out just to come here.
Yeah, aside from me being here just on the weekends, usually 1 or 2 days, because of my day job, I do get online, our back end, either on Uber or DoorDash, and there is one specific person. He knows who he is, but I think
We
he's
love you.
on.
We love him.
Yes, thank you. I don't think I've ever met this person, but you can see how many times people have ordered from your store.
Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he's at like 50 something,
Wow.
which thank you.
Yeah. Put him at the top of the dog Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should.
it's fantastic that we can create and we can have a product that creates that repeat customer. And by no means they're not like, here's one donut. This person is very generous every time they buy
No, and they're sharing.
donuts,
They're
and they
sharing the
share
product
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
us.
I mean, they may have
they're
an
making
office or something like
fans for
that.
us.
and
Oh,
getting the word out
100%.
there.
Yeah. Like
And if
like
it's
the
not
time
a
I sent
donut,
some
it's
with
a
my wife.
coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have people that come in every day for our coffee. And they just say, man, I've
I
been around
would.
everywhere here, and this coffee is so amazing.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
would. I mean, that's
Yeah.
better than going to Starbucks. Anyways, we're gonna sit here and advertise for them all
Yeah,
day
all
or
day,
whatever.
all day.
We should talk some trash or talk something else. So let's, Desiree, I mean, Edwin's talked to me plenty about, like what he does, and we'll get to that and stuff. But like on a daily basis, like what are you doing? Like what did you do before you guys started this? Like where did you come from? And then like usually I start that at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay.
I establish
Yeah.
people, but I was like, let's just get into
Dive
it.
in.
Let's dive in.
Yeah.
But so like what did you do before?
So I've been in the service industry for over 18 years.
Mhm.
I started at 15, really young,
Yeah.
just waiting tables,
Mhm.
bussing, worked my way up, was doing bartending, then was doing bar management, worked in a fine dining steakhouse in the casino. So I worked my way through all the positions. Granted, I've never been in a coffee shop or
Yeah.
donut shop, but
But
I've dealt with forward facing, you know, with the
Yeah.
guests my whole life.
Mhm.
And I love the people interaction. I love that engagement. So I think that transition was really easy to me. Obviously, it's a little different when you're running and owning, operating the
You've got to
business.
also think of the
There's
back of the house type
so
stuff and all that.
much,
Yeah.
right? So much that goes into it. And it was a
Yeah.
huge learning curve, you know, in terms of amount of effort and time that's
Mhm.
spent here. I mean, you have a 5 a.m., you have to be here to start
'Cause you're a
working on the
baker.
dough.
You're
Yeah.
essentially, you're a baker as well. You're not just
Yeah.
like running a coffee shop, because a coffee shop you can open up and just start,
Right.
Yeah. Here's
like,
the coffee. Let's
yeah,
go. My
like most
machine's
places aren't
ready.
brewing their own, they're not roasting their beans in the back and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So they're just opening up and, hey, what's up? You go to Starbucks and everything nowadays is just in a plastic wrapper. All the pastries are just in plastic and they
Right.
just throw it into a little convection oven. But like you're baking,
Yeah.
you
We're,
know.
you know, long, long hours. I mean, even before we opened, just building the space, the amount of time that was spent here, like actually putting it together, where everything was going to go, placement, all of that was
Mhm.
so much thought was put into it. So it really was a labor of love. It was long hours.
So you obviously then have transitioned into business owner,
Right.
baker, manager,
Right.
since this
Yes.
guy's only half in the bag,
I know. What he's putting me to work over
You
here. It
know,
doesn't feel
he's
right. Stuff.
scheduling
Help.
podcasts.
SOS.
Yeah.
I need
No,
help.
exactly.
He's-
She's like,
he's
wait,
over
we
here
have what on
scheduling.
Saturday?
Yeah, actually, he didn't even. I didn't even know. He's like, "Oh, by the way, there's a podcast." Oh, okay. Wow, cool. I mean, let's go then. Shit.
Yeah, I know. I was like, is she in? Is she out? Like, what are we doing? Are we doing this? And he's like, no,
Yeah.
she's in. She's in. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, all right, cool. Like, all right,
Let's do
so 3-person. So,
Yeah.
but so that's cool. So it's 5 a.m. pretty much Monday through Friday. I know, especially at the beginning, it was
I was doing Monday
full
through
force.
Sunday. Yeah, I
Monday
was
through
every
Sunday,
day.
every day.
Then my mom retired, so she was
Mhm.
really
Got a
helping
ghost in
us
the
with our
bathroom. Sorry.
kid. That kind of helped. Then him and I were rotating. You know, I would do a Saturday and have Sunday off, and vice versa. So we would at least get the one day off because he's still going to his job,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday. So it was a lot.
Yeah.
It still is a lot in the sense that now that I'm so used to being here all the time, now I have to like let go of the control of like, okay, and
Yeah.
he'll tell me that he's like, you gotta like, I'll go in, and I'm like, oh, but I should be there, like,
Right,
are you
right.
sure? I gotta be the one to go in, or
Yeah. And you got
we're
little,
training a new person, I have to train her,
yeah. I want her
or
to do it
him.
exactly how I
Yeah,
want her to do it, not how you
I gotta
want to
let
do it.
go of that a little bit, and I'm
Mhm.
working on that.
Yeah. No, I
I'm working
completely
on it.
understand the control freak. I get it. So you've been able to just in this 6 months now kind of taper back a little bit. You got
Just
some people trained.
recently, we're really, I think him and I are, because we want to scale too, so we want to open a second shop and a third, fourth, if God willing we can.
Yeah.
But we're starting to get people in place that we can really really trust and kind of mentor through growing, all of us growing together. We
Yeah.
have a phenomenal team. Everybody that's, I think, here right now, I don't think there's ever been a time somebody walks in the shop and they're like, well, that person was so miserable, because staff is happy. I mean,
Right.
No, they like the couple times I've been in just randomly, it's like, they seem bought in, they seem engaged. It's not just your normal like, okay,
yeah.
nope, we're out of that one.
Right, yeah. And that's
Hitting the
not, you don't
buttons.
want that.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times we've been somewhere and like, wow, I mean, you're acting like you're doing me a favor taking my order. I just want to eat something. I want to have a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like, why are you
But
so
please
stale about
make
it?
a selection on this
Yeah,
as you cash out.
yeah,
Give
right?
me my tip.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, you're not ready
then
yet?
you
And then
flip the
it's
screen
here,
around to you.
20%,
Yeah, 20,
Yeah.
25, 30, and wait,
You're
what,
going,
why does
what?
it start
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
The worst, the craziest. So, all right, cool. So you guys have just been cranking through. So let's,
Been grinding, man.
we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back. And then I want to like hear a little bit more, because I know Ed's told me some of the stories about the company or whatever. So hear a little bit more about that, and we can kind of keep working our way through it. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Awesome.
Yo, what's up, guys? I want to do a follow-up. I used to run an ad or commercial for my friends at HPTRT, Human Performance, talking about like testosterone therapy or, all that kind of stuff. I finally have been, I've been using it. I've been, a member of the program for over 6 months now. I got my second round of labs, and I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. When I first was tested, I was at 330. I'm a 43-year-old man, and my test was at 330. I didn't even go through the injections. I'm going through a couple different types of prescription pills that they have to help me out. All legal, all on the up and up. But after this 6 months, my test has gone up to 910. As somebody who works out 3 to 4 times a week, wants to stay young, wants to stay healthy with all this stuff. It's helped with all kinds of stuff, like my focus, continuing to give me like the best sleep that I've ever gotten. I've enjoyed it. So go over to hp-trt.com and check it out. You can bring, if you've had lab work within the last 6 months, you can bring your own lab work and they'll start you up. If you haven't, then you pay for the lab work through them. Or you can just go to your own doctor and do your lab work through your normal insurance, which I'm sure has a zero copay, if anything. And use the code DSP20, and that'll get you 20% off forever, as long as you're a member, or as long as you use Human Performance. So it's a great program, good people over there. So go ahead and get it done. And if you've been thinking about it, or if you've looked at recent tests in your testosterone, and you want a boost of that kind of stuff, get into it, because you can also get the testosterone through them as well as peptides and other things. So DSP20 will get you 20% off. Good luck. All right, we're back. And so we want to, I know you've told me before when we've talked about sort of how, because it's got that Americana vibe, like classic American, very patriotic, styling, like some of it's in here on this back wall of swag, but throughout the store. So when you went to sort of get involved with the company, tell me about that.
So obviously we fell in love with the product and the aesthetics of that first shop that we walked into. But two, I think what ultimately sold us was, just the founder himself, Mr. Derek Hayden. Just great overall individual. So the brand itself is based off of the women, like World War I time frame. The women of the Salvation Army.
Yep.
Initially they went out to war. How can we boost the morale of the troops? So they started making donuts. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they initially, at some point, they would fry some donuts in like helmets.
Yeah.
So they became known as the Donut Lassies. And this is all history. Like you can go
No,
Google it.
I
and
agree with you. I'm letting you
Wikipedia,
tell the story,
whatever.
and then I'll add in some more. Yeah.
They wanted to bring a piece of home to the men that were on the front lines.
So the guys on the front lines became known as the Doughboys.
Yep.
So they started making the donuts. So yeah, it's old school Americana. Each shop needs to have a 48-star flag or less in the shop, just based off the time frame that the brand is going for. We ended up
just interrupt you with the donuts. The Salvation Army still does that to this day.
Right.
Like they call even police departments on National Donut Day and offer them donuts. So they will drive around and drop off donuts at police departments and stuff like that. So just to continue on with that part.
Yeah.
But
so the Salvation Army was the one that they founded National Donut Day,
which
is huge for donut shops around the country.
June 6th, also my wife's birthday.
June 6th.
What a great birthday.
It is.
For her, I guess.
I mean, I would be loving that.
Also D-Day, so.
Yeah.
Aside from our grand opening, National Donut Day this year was just insane.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because I came in here right at the end of the day. The cabinets.
A dozen donuts. You're like, I need a dozen donuts for my wife. No, and you're closed actually.
Yeah,
I said I'll make it happen for you.
Yep. You hooked it up and took care of me, and told me I got some for you.
Yeah,
and took care of it. So, so you guys killed it on National Donut Day.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. So the old school Americana, each shop needs to have a 48-star flag or less. We took it in stride. Like, hey, this is going to be the first foray for the brand down in South Florida. We really want to do it right. So a lot of this stuff you can find like replicas for, like the posters, the magazines that you can hang up on the walls, the banners. We spent a little bit more than we probably should have on some of these
Yeah, but it was so
artifacts,
much fun.
but
Yeah.
we had a
Antique shopping
blast.
for it.
Like,
It was.
we found an original 45-star flag. So
Right.
it was when Utah was added as a state. So it dates 1896 to 1908. If
Wow.
you look at the stem, you could see like that old cursive of whatever family maybe had owned it.
Yeah.
So it just, I mean, I pulled that thing out of the box and I got goosebumps. I'm like, man, look, there's just so much
Well,
history.
and folded up, it's got to be freaking huge because it's
Yeah.
a huge flag that's over on their wall. It's like, I mean, what are your ceilings? 20 feet
Yeah,
or something like that?
18.
18
I think
feet.
it's
Yeah.
an
So, and that thing's
8 by
hanging
10.
almost the
Yeah.
from roof from ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
So it's a huge flag.
So, I mean, that's obviously like the centerpiece of the shop, but then we have original 1918 magazines, that propaganda, like war propaganda poster we have by the entrance
Hmm.
is a 1918 like Donut Lassie Salvation Army poster.
So when you say you were
Original.
antiquing, like, were you just like, like say like driving through North Carolina, stopping at an
Yes.
antique
Oh,
shop and
100%.
like, or antique road, not antique roadshow, but the other one where the guys used to jump in the Sprinter van and like
Yeah,
run to a
yeah.
guy's barn and like invade
Exactly.
his
we
barn kind of
were
thing?
Everywhere we were like antique shops, something.
everywhere.
Let's stop in there, see what they
Yeah.
have.
And
When
it's
we
and
did
it's
that,
fun to have a like purpose.
right.
Like I remember antiquing with my mom when we used to drive up the east coast of Pennsylvania every summer, and like I never knew, but then once in a while, like when I started to get older and I was thinking like, oh, old Nintendo games or something like that. When you have a purpose and you're like hunting something, it makes it that much more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Um,
We did try it a couple times with Kai because some of it we did on the road trip when we were moving from San Diego to here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Driving across Texas, I'm sure there's a lot.
Yeah, but Kai was how old? 2, 1.5. He was
yeah,
1.5, and that was difficult because like, nope, you can't touch that, and then
Yeah,
nope,
yeah, yeah.
oh, whoop,
we
you
was
Yeah,
can't
walking into
touch
these stores
that.
and it's like,
I'm like,
leave-
okay, I'll wait outside,
leave
and
in
you
the
can
cart.
look first, and then we'll switch, and then I'll look, and we'll see if we find
Right.
anything.
Second set of
Yeah,
eyes. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Parent
yeah,
swap.
yeah.
So yeah, but that's cool. The hunting for Americana,
Absolutely.
or especially donut based stuff. It gives me an idea. Maybe I'll start doing that too. I should start
Yeah.
doing that for
And
myself.
again, so everything in here is original from early 1900s, the
Mhm.
flag late 1800s, um, all original, which makes it even more, what's the word?
Authentic.
Authentic, right? But it to me, even being in the military, it adds
Mhm.
a little bit more value. Like
It made
even
me
if people
proud.
don't
It
know
made me
about it,
proud.
it makes me
Mhm.
more proud. One,
Yeah.
two, people don't necessarily know that's a 45-star flag because they're not counting
Yeah. Well, but you
stars,
can,
but
to describe it to people, I'll probably have a picture. I know I'll have a video in the little sizzle reel for this, but if you just look at the stars aren't offset from each other.
exactly.
They're all squared off on each other. So when you look at something like that, for those of us that understand flags and the history of the US flag and stuff, when you look at it, you go, it's not a Betsy Ross, but it's not current.
Right.
There's something different. And it's a little big to just be some Chinese knockoff,
Exactly.
so it's like,
Yeah.
that's, somebody didn't screw up with their flags. And hopefully if they do think that somebody screwed up, they'll ask you guys.
Right. We actually wrote to the seller about that flag and like told him our background story, him being in the military, where we wanted to hang it, why it meant so much to us because he had it on, it was eBay
Yeah, it was a
on
little
auction
back
for
and
a
forth
while,
bidding at the
and
last
we
minute.
we were like, we just need to write to him and tell him our background and where we're gonna put this and why we're
Yeah.
so proud of it. And he's like, I think he responded with like, I wouldn't want it to go to anybody else but you guys. We were like,
Yeah.
wow, thank you.
Well, not
Yeah.
to tell the secrets then, but did he cancel the auction or did you
He
just
did,
kind
yeah.
of,
So
He sold it to us.
he ended up just selling it to us,
Yeah.
buy it now or whatever
Yeah.
on eBay. And there it is, 10 feet by 6 feet.
is that all it is?
Centerpiece.
God, it feels like it's
It
even
is,
bigger,
but
but it's still huge.
it is.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Yeah. So it's cool. There's some cool stuff but that would be a theme across other stores,
Correct.
correct.
Yeah.
wherever you go. So like the one in Destin in the Panhandle that you guys went to had similar stuff.
Right. Yeah. So, they have the crates again, because it is a franchise, they have guidelines that we need to follow. And here's your guidebook. These are the different tiles and the colors that you can choose.
Yeah.
But I think just in general, the color schemes they put together that you can choose, they make this not just, any other donut shop the pinks and the purples, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
aesthetically pleasing
Yeah, yeah.
to the crowd or the customers. And
What do you got against pinks? No, I'm just kidding. It's my hat.
yeah, yeah. I was looking at your patch and I was like,
No, no.
yeah,
Whatever, whatever. Everybody knows a pink donut.
This
So,
is
yeah.
true.
so we'll let explain the donut, because this is also going to go on some audio. So people may not see video of this
Okay.
if they're listening podcast land on Spotify and Apple. Explain
Take that.
how the donut works, Madam Baker.
So we pride ourselves in what we call our famous layered dough. So it's light, it's buttery, it's flaky. You know, if you rip our donut open, you will literally see the layers. You can bite it and you'll see, you know, the layers of our dough. There's a lot of words that people like to use to describe what our donut is. I would not say that's what it is. We
I can
just
bleep them out if
simplify
you
it.
want to.
No, no.
I'm just
We
kidding.
just simplify it by saying, you know, it's our famous one. We've trademarked it, the
Yeah, yeah.
brand, famous layered dough.
Yeah, because the other ones have been trademarked.
Correct. Yes.
Perfect.
So because of trademark infringement or whatever, we can't talk. No, I mean
Yeah.
we can, I can, whatever. I don't work for the
Right.
company, but basically, yeah. So like I can say it. It's similar to a croissant. It has aspects of a croissant or a French type of pastry. But that's me. But still, one way or the other, it's awesome. And then so like that's the base. That's what the donut is, the pastry, and then everything else afterwards. Like, because I know you, like, I've come in here and you've just been like, yeah, we're out of the one that you're asking for. I'll go back there and whip it up.
Right. So
And
we
nail it.
make fresh, small batches fresh all day
Yeah.
is what, you know, our shtick is. So you may not necessarily see it in the case.
Yeah.
We'll be doing glaze to order. Doesn't mean that we're not going to go to the back and accommodate you.
Glaze it,
It
yeah.
may take us a couple more minutes
Right.
if other people are also, you know, ordering from stuff that we don't have in the case. But for the most part, we usually get them out.
Yeah. You're not
Pretty
gonna sell
fast.
out at noon and
Right.
just be like, we're not
Like
selling
other
anymore for
donut
the next
shops
3
do.
hours.
Right. Yeah. Where
Like,
they're like, sorry, we baked everything in the morning. It's not
Yeah.
like that. We're constantly in the back making
yeah.
making these
And you
donuts
make
and turning them. Making
everything it's made here. Like
Yeah.
all the
Everything is
baking's
made-
done. There's not
yeah.
like like a consignment baker or a third
Nope.
party shop that
No, yeah. So
So-
that's part of our motto too. It's like small batches made
Mhm.
fresh all day. So we will serve you until 3 p.m. Again, like she mentioned, you may have to wait. When you pull a donut out of a fryer, that's 385 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I can't
can't
glaze
throw
it.
sugar glaze on it
Yeah.
because everything's just gonna
Yeah.
melt right off.
Yeah.
So, if people come in later, hey, you may have to wait, but if you still want it, we'll make it.
Oh, and we've had people show up 255,
Stop talking about
258
you. Keep talking about me
So-
because that's pretty much whenever.
and say, can I get a dozen donuts?
Yeah,
I'm
can I
like, yes, of course. I'm not going to say no. I've been in customer service.
you're
my
gonna
whole
work
life.
that
Yes,
customer
yes,
service
yes,
smile.
yes, yeah. And I'm going to
Yeah.
smile and I'm going to say yes, and because I'm happy to serve you. I
Yeah.
know that you're going to go tell everybody
Yeah.
that you got nice new donuts at this time, and then more people are going to come in. So
Of course, but
we call them fan
it's-
donuts.
But hey, don't stop closing at 3:00. I'm just saying.
I know we
that's-
got to extend
some
our
people-
hours. We have to
Yeah.
extend our hours.
Some people get hungry for donuts at like 2:55 and want a donut
Exactly.
at that
I
time.
know.
I'm very
I'm
busy
not
in
judging
the-
that. I'm that person. I'll go right in and be like, listen, your hours say 3:00. I'm coming in at 2:59.
I
I want to
do.
get it.
No, I totally get it. I've seen what was the movie?
No,
The-
don't say it.
Yeah, okay, I won't.
No,
But
I'm just saying, no,
we-
I already know. Waiting? Are you
yeah,
talking about
waiting.
Waiting? I love that
I've
movie.
seen
It's
seen
great.
waiting. I've seen waiting. I saw it in the theater, so I know. Don't
That
be that
movie's
guy.
hilarious.
Don't and it's 100% accurate for everybody in the service industry
I've been in the
watching
service
it.
industry, and yet I will still be that person that'll come in
Oh,
at 2:59 and
Yeah.
order what I.
And order
Because I'll
5
go in
courses
and
at a
out.
Chili's.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do the 5 courses, but I would be like, hey, is the kitchen still open? What can I get quick? I'm gonna be in and out before you're even done doing your side work. Like, I got you.
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna make more money, and I'm gonna get food. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that being in the service industry and going in, or at least somebody like myself that's at least conscious of it, you ask those questions and they may say no, absolutely not, or you read their face, and if their eyes roll a little bit, you
Yeah.
say, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading what you're putting out.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't put that out when I say I need a dozen
No,
donuts.
but we won't. And I don't think there's a single staff member that would say
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
because everybody is told and taught and trained that it's until 3:00, and we will do that until
Making glazed to order.
yeah.
Hell
glazed to
yeah,
order.
that's and it's good. And then the minis are also great. So I'm just gonna talk about the menu or whatever. But
Okay.
um
Why are those donuts so close to you? That's what
yes.
I want to know.
But I can't eat them right now because I have to talk. And I'm gonna be all a mess. And I didn't bring any napkins over or a towel or whatever to wash myself. And then the coffee. So the coffee is something that's completely specific to
Parlor Doughnuts.
Parlor Donuts
Yeah,
too, right?
so how the coffee started, the founder's son, Noah, created proper coffee roasters,
Mhm.
and then they blended the two. So it's all in family
Yeah.
business, and what goes better with donuts or coffee?
Yeah.
So we get our beans roasted by proper coffee roasters
In
in
Evansville.
Evansville, Indiana, where the brand started.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good question. Indiana. All right.
Indiana. So every week, each shop, depending on what you're selling and how much you need, you put in your orders, and they're roasting this fresh for each shop every single week.
And it changes. Their roast also changes according to the beans that they're able to get from the farms and where they're receiving them from. So if they like a certain mix and it changes the way it's blending with the drinks that we have, they're changing the way it's roasting. Then they're changing the way they're labeling their roast for us. And that's what we're selling because they want to make sure that with every bag of coffee and every drink that somebody gets, you're tasting something different.
That's cool.
You're really tasting good coffee. It's not
Yeah.
just the push button coffee.
And I
Right.
think that's what really is setting this brand apart and why in 6 years they've expanded so much. I mean, just for reference, like I think franchising, it's hard for a company to even grow to 10 stores in years.
Hmm.
I think we're at 83 or 84 right
84.
now in 6 years alone, with the majority of like the major territories already sold out um, to get developed.
Yeah.
So between the product that we're making with the donuts and the coffee, they're doing it so right.
Hmm.
It's really gaining traction and very fast.
Well, I'm thinking because like you're having a hard enough time franchising out your days of the week to
Right.
other people. Can you
Right.
imagine giving your company,
No.
if you were the owners, to other people to run it? Is the
Right.
same sort of thing. So it's a crazy thing.
I think that's part of the reason why him and I also really fell in love with the brand is the founders, Derek and Jen, were very involved in terms of like the interviewing process. When you fill out the application, then you're doing a Zoom interview, then you're coming to meet them.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of it was very personable and it made it so much more, I don't know, it just felt easier knowing that you have their support and they're there and they're involved. And I mean, and they are. It's it's really nice to see how much they want to hear from all of the
Yeah.
franchisees because they want to grow and they understand that they're not going to think of everything, right? So they want to reach out to the people that they've trusted
Hmm.
to help their brand grow, and I love that about them.
Yeah. And another thing about them is, when we first interviewed, so we were number 33 to sign up with the brand because we thought of the idea and got in so early, which it's very rare sometimes to get in to something. Sometimes you have your businesses that they'll slug their way through, and sometimes I like to say like you have that dog that's like just pulling ahead from the
Yeah.
crowd, and this is 100% that, in my opinion. Again, not just because we're invested in it, but they wanted people that would grow and obviously had the financials to support opening one of these things.
Yeah.
They didn't just want to hand out franchises to people with millions and millions and millions of dollars in their pockets already. They wanted somebody that would be like invested
Yeah.
them
Small business
personally.
Yeah,
minded
like
and
a
Right.
good
stuff,
fit, a good fit
not
for
a
the
hedge
brand,
fund or
right?
something.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not just water down the brand because, hey, I have millions and I can just
Hmm.
open 10 of these in a year,
Yeah.
which made it, even better for us, I think,
Yeah.
um, to give the little people an opportunity
Us being the
to
little
grow
people.
to
Yeah,
grow
yeah,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
that was cool.
cool. Yeah. No, it's cool. And can you talk about the future for you guys for the store?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
yeah, then what's in the what do you have in store for the future
What's in the
for
cards?
what could come from just this one?
So from just this one, so how I like to see it is if you own a store, I personally believe you're still an employee. Like we're in here getting our hands dirty. Nothing against that, obviously. We have to baby this and nurture it.
Yeah.
Um, but if you have a store, you're still an employee.
Mhm.
So when we signed our franchise agreement, we agreed to do 4 stores in Broward County.
Okay.
Like 75% of Broward. So our territory ends at Commercial Boulevard and goes down to the date line. I think eventually we want to expand out west. So
Okay.
we live in Pembroke Pines. So throw one in Pines, get all the kids hooked up on
Pines, we
sugar.
got you coming next.
Yeah, there you go. So there's a
Some
little bit of
insight
little hype
there,
train.
Pembroke
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pines.
throw one in Pines, maybe hit up Davie Plantation to get the
Okay.
schools, NSU
Yeah, and it's
and Broward
Yeah.
College or whatever
Yep.
area.
I used to own a condo over there by Nova. So
There you go.
Yeah.
great. And it's insane just to talk
So
about
much
local
traffic there.
stuff. Like I drove up Davie Road the other day and like I grew up there. And so it's like, what is going on? Granted, Davie Road used to be, they had like a whatever city ordinance that everything basically had to have like a hitching post out front, like you were walking your horse there, riding your horse there.
Yeah.
It had to have a Western
Very ranch,
theme,
Western. Yep.
ranchy.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of gone away. They like the McDonald's moved, the Wendy's moved, all these like restaurants and different things moved, and like there's full blown zero like huge, just like
Apartment
here,
next to
huge apartment
yeah.
building, sidewalk, Davie Road.
Yep.
So it's a little weird, but there's opportunities for places like
Exactly.
this to go in. Whereas over there, you had like a quarter acre lot with one store on it.
I know.
So it's like now you've got space for smaller shops or multiple shops
Yeah.
because they're putting mixed use family homes and townhouses and condos all over that area, which is crazy, but it's cool. And they're feeding to the idea of Nova Southeastern is just exploding.
Blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So yeah, that'll be cool. Oh, that's too many. That's pretty much like that would be like 3 on my errands route
Yeah.
that
Perfect.
I'd be driving by. So and then the question is how do you manage that? So you've
Exactly.
now learned from here, and then you're
And we're still learning. Let me tell you,
learning.
Still learning.
Yeah, but yeah,
Being in the military, that's one leadership challenge.
yeah.
And then being a business owner
With
is
your wife.
with my wife.
Yeah, just put the caveat in there.
A
With
whole
your
nother,
wife
like,
is a whole nother
like
dynamic.
you've got war, and then you've got your
Don't-
wife.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so
the two
which,
W's.
which is the lesser of two evils? I'm not really sure sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. Somebody's like, oh my
And a
God.
wife from Hialeah. So
See, you already know.
Exactly.
You're picking up.
Exactly.
You're picking
So
up.
that's one leadership challenge. And then, the aspect of owning a business, like, crap, we got employees. Everyone has different, everywhere you have different personalities. I get it.
totally.
Um, and, people aren't necessarily going to get rich working at a donut shop.
Mhm.
We understand that. But then you have a completely different challenge and different mentalities. Oh, I'm just serving a donut, so let me just do whatever. But we have standards. Me being in the military, like a little bit more hut, right?
Yeah.
And then her having worked the full gamut of
Service
bar
industry.
to serving millionaires.
Mhm.
She's
I'm
got
the complete
her,
opposite of him. Let's just
Yeah,
face it.
complete opposite.
I'm
but
But
it's
yeah.
very
180.
challenging
Yeah.
still. But I think we're getting there. And, once you expand your footprint, essentially how we see it is, we're going to train up people that we can grow management and leaders from within this
Yep.
shop.
and that's
And
what
everything's
that's
gonna
what we really want to
everything's
do
going to start
too.
here, at
Right.
least at the beginning in the
Right.
nucleus. So people here have something to work for, work
Right.
towards, hey, listen, I can obviously make a career out of this or make more money, and do
Managing
that kind
a
of thing.
store, then managing
Exactly.
our multiple
Yeah, I
stores.
mean,
Right.
because eventually it'd
We're gonna
be
need that.
the idea would be like, hey, we will completely pull back if this thing runs itself,
Right.
but until then, we've got to be the training wheels. We've got to be steering the ship, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I'll use whatever analogies I can with Coast Guard
Coast
stuff.
Guard,
I
exactly.
I think too the hard part is when you're doing all of this and you're doing it with your partner is like stepping away and being like, okay, we're not working right now.
Mhm.
We're gonna have time for us too, because
Right.
that's hard when I'm always here and he's always at his job, and
Perfect.
then we get together and it's like, we're gonna talk about work, and then I'm like, I don't want to talk about work. I
Yeah.
want to
Perfect. I
just
mean,
be.
like,
I
and
just want to be your friend right now. Like I want to chill. I want to hang out. I want to do fun stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, it's hard sometimes to shut off.
that,
You
and I
know,
mean, you bring up a great point that I wanted to ask you guys, like, how do you manage that?
it's hard.
It's
Being together, you know,
It is.
We're still
you've got
figuring that out.
you've got a primary job,
Yeah.
you know, that also, but then like you said, when you're together, like, how do you, you know, I commend you for making it this far,
Right.
and like, how do you guys manage that, like, as a couple? You know, speak to the couples out there that sometimes only spend even 15 hours a week together and have a tough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something we're still trying to navigate through too, and then also being new parents with a
Mhm.
toddler who's like he's an insane amount of energy.
Well, he's all hopped
We-
up on sugar. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
I don't,
actually, he
I don't let
doesn't.
I don't let
Yeah.
him eat all this stuff because man, if he did, he would be off the walls
Yeah.
till all hours of the day. I mean, he's just full of energy. But I think we try to kindly remind each other, like, all right, you know, or I'll shoot the look of like, come on, I just want to tone it back a step. Let's just have non-business talk. Like, and then
Yeah.
he'll tell me, no, we need to have business talk. Cause sometimes I'm always like, no, we're not having all of that right now. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, we have to talk about this stuff. So there's a balance. We're
Do
still,
you
I think,
schedule
trying to
stuff?
figure it out.
Like, do you schedule stuff like that? Like,
No, but I wonder
not
if we
really.
should.
We
probably should.
Okay, I'll be the
Actually, we
counselor.
probably should be like, all right,
probably
on this
should.
day of the week, we
100%.
should only at this time. Let's do these time windows. Man,
Now
you
that
There you
you
go.
just
I'm
say
the
helped us
counselor.
out.
I'll be the
Thank you
counselor.
so
here.
much.
That might actually work. you know?
Because I'm huge about communication, like, and I really
Yeah, me too.
try to communicate, like, especially with my wife and stuff. And I, like, with my background and in police work, and then even with crisis negotiation when I was on the team for 9 years, it's like the biggest problem that we see in law enforcement, the reason why we're going to fights at people's houses is poor communication
Mhm.
almost every time,
Yeah.
you know, or cheating, but like poor communication. So it's if people could communicate better and at least give their wants, needs, understandings and stuff to each other, then you can kind of get that. And so, like, my wife and I will sometimes, or like with my parents or whatever, because we live in the same house together, it's family meeting, you know, like we say it as a
I
joke
love
to
it.
sort of broach the topic of we
Yeah.
need to get
Right.
together and we need to have a conversation about something. And like, FYI, this might be a little serious, or it's not that serious. We just need to schedule something or get something figured out. So that's there's a little tip from me, and you know, so, but yeah, I mean, hey, schedule stuff out. You got business stuff. I do the same thing with my podcast with the podcast group, because we have a media company and we try to, you know, we've got franchisees basically. We've got 17 different podcasts that work together, and we're trying to plan events where everybody gets together somewhere in the country to do shows and everything. And we got to communicate. We can't just
Yeah.
assume that everybody knows. You
Right.
can't assume that she knows exactly what you're going to do this weekend or that kind of thing. So there, I don't know.
No,
I'll get off a
that's
soapbox,
a good
but
idea.
I
but
think that too, and then also him and I just being most of the time we're on the same page with what's happening in the shop, but I think more like we're not just telling each other what to do. It's more like I'm giving you information, you're giving me information so we can be up to speed. And I think that was also a huge learning curve for us because he's in a position in the military where, I mean, everybody comes to him for what he's doing. He's so
well,
high up.
you're
And now
yeah.
the role is a little bit reversed because I'm here all the time. I've been in
So
this
you're the
business for a long
officer.
time. So,
Yeah.
and so sometimes, you know, I can feel the tension and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm just
Tension
trying.
between you guys.
Yeah, like if stuff
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
if stuff is popping off, or just the way me just trying to spit stuff out, like, hey, all of this is happening, this is going on, and maybe he's done something a different way, and I'm like, well, this works better this way. I think it was kind of him and I learning to understand that's how that communication is going. It's not me, you know, I'm not trying to bark orders. It's like I've been testing this out, this is working, let's try it this way. And that was
Well,
a
and
huge learning curve for
and
us
then
too.
in the service industry, especially in, like, when you're in the weeds or
Oh
whatever
yeah,
that they
you're
might call
always
it,
on fire in the back of the house.
you're barking orders at
Oh
somebody, and
yeah,
it's just follow orders or to get it done. So for the team,
right.
military, barking orders,
Same. Yeah.
following orders for the team. This is why. It's not your feelings can't get hurt. It's get the job done.
Right.
So it's the same thing with service industry. So I guess you guys kind of in that realm can have similar
Yep.
mentality,
Yep.
you
Right.
know, just from different fields. So I guess that's kind of good. You know, you're an officer in the military. So do you find it sometimes hard having somebody barking orders at you? No, just kidding.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
1,000%. But we're on the same team.
We're on the same team, right? Working through it as it comes. So
You
And in
gotta
the service industry, the kitchen is always on fire, no matter what. It doesn't matter if everything looks great up front and things are running and everybody's having a great time and employees are, hey, this is great. The back of house is on fire.
Yeah.
There's something happening
you
that
moving.
you're trying to figure out, fix it, make things go smoothly. And in the service industry, it never really does go smoothly all the time. So, you know, that's something I've always been used to being in the service industry my whole life. It's like,
Yeah.
I know how that works. Oh, this happened over here. All right, we'll figure it out. We're gonna get through it.
You guys watch
Yeah.
whatchamacallit, the show on FX?
Bear.
Or the Bear. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always want to
It
call it
is
beef.
it is exactly that.
It is
It's
ex-
always
Yeah.
exactly that.
and
I'm not
everybody's
kidding you.
everybody's in some mild depression or extreme depression.
I mean,
Well, I wouldn't say we have that here, but that
we're
was
not that.
great.
Yeah, but it's true. And you know, when I come in here,
There's so many
sometimes
people of
she's
different
told me
walks of
like,
life.
you need to tone like
The military
smile.
down.
You know,
Smile.
sometimes how I say things, it may come off a little bit more direct, but like you said, hey, let's just work.
Mhm.
let's
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, why do I have to ask? Or they ask all the time on what should I do next? Just find work.
Yeah,
You know,
well, and
you
that's
know,
always been my philosophy is
right?
I'm going to find work on a crime scene. I'm going to find work on a
Right.
call. Yeah. Oh, hey, crime scene tape needs to go up and just go do it. Not like, hey, Sarge, you need me to put crime scene tape? Well, obviously I need you to put crime scene tape on.
Right.
Like, you know, so yeah, find work is always that should almost be like the first day of training, you know,
Right.
find work.
Exactly.
Like,
Who was that basketball coach? Popovich? The
oh,
one that they would
Popovich, Greg Popovich
yeah,
from
they would
the
always ask him
Spurs.
like, what do you think your team can do better to win? Make more baskets. Like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes his response is like, all right, well, let's fluff a little here.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just say just work.
Just get to work, you know?
Totally. All right. Well, we're going to take another break and then we'll come back and then hear a little bit about Ed's military career or what kind of like what's going on with that
Sure.
that we're allowed to talk about. And it's raining outside. So we'll be right back.
Always right.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Want to let you know I have a new website format. Same website, donutshoppodcast.com. But this time I'm running it through Shopify. Make it much easier to purchase items because aside from the hats that I have up there, Donut Shop Podcast, PVC hats, the blue line snapback, laser mesh, nice and clean on the inside, comfy hats. I have some other swag, t-shirts, can koozies, just some other stuff that I put up there. I'm running the website through Shopify, and so it'll make it real easy for you guys to go on and purchase some stuff and support the show. So thanks for tuning in and following the show, and don't forget donutshoppodcast.com. Thanks. Hey, what's up, guys? Want to talk to you about Tasty Gains. They're a sponsor of Counterculture Inc. We love them, been using them, and I enjoy it. It's a little gummy. It's got like 1 gram of creatine in there, so you take 3 a day, knock it out. It's making a difference, and it gives me a little bit of sweetness too during the day. I can keep them right in my backpack in my car at work, and they don't melt. You can see this is the mango pineapple. It's my favorite flavor. But check it out. Use code Counterculture to get 20% off on Tasty Gains. So check out Tasty Gains. They're great. So get your swole on. What's in the cup? Guys, what's in my cup? Blackout Coffee Company. We joined up with them. I've been drinking it and I enjoy it. And I think you may enjoy it as well. So you can go over to our website and click the link, or you can just go to their website, blackoutcoffee.com, and use our coupon code to get 10% off. The code is DSP10. So go over, check it out. All right, we're back from break and we started talking about something, and I want to use this as an opportunity to get into it. So your military career, you did mention, I'm not going to bring it up. You mentioned Coast Guard. So you're United States Coast Guard. So thank you very much. And so we have a little bit of that law enforcement background because Coast Guard's kind of law enforcement, somewhat. They have a law enforcement function, right?
100%. Yeah.
So kind of explain to me a little bit about how your career's gone and like what.
Yeah. So let's see. I started my military career. My dad was in the Air Force.
Okay.
So already had that military background growing up. Every 3 years we were moving. What am I going to do when I get out of high school? My sister is also in the Air Force. She's older than me, year and a few months older.
Yeah.
So my dad went in the Air Force. My sister's in the Air Force. Um, I decided to go to the Coast Guard. I thought I loved the water
Yeah.
initially. So I went to the Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut,
Right. Yeah.
one of the service academies that we have here in the States. Before going to the Coast Guard Academy, when I filled out my application, um, they saw my intended major was to be a naval engineer, which is very math intensive. So like, hey, your math SAT is, do you want to go to prep school for a year? So I went to prep school for a year, nowhere near the water. I went to the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell,
Holy crap. Okay.
alien town,
Yeah.
New Mexico. I mean, they have the alien museum in Roswell, aliens, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So I was there for a year, which NIMI is, if you don't know, it's a high school and junior college. Um, so the majority of the group there is doing like Army ROTC, and then you have like the football players that are doing JUCO football, and then you have all these high schoolers that because they had some kind of rank and they're juniors in high school, they're in your face, and then you have these football players that are there not for anything military, but just to play junior college football and eventually get picked up by a D2 or D1 school.
There's a dog outside that needs a
Um,
cookie.
They're trying to come in
Yeah.
here, get our dog donuts.
Sorry. So yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting experience. One, just being in Roswell, I'd never been out that way. Eventually made it to the Coast Guard Academy a year later. So I essentially did freshman year of college twice. I still joined and became a naval engineer. So I think that was 12 or 13 in my class. So each Coast Guard Academy class starts with about 300 and change. We're pretty small. We're like 1,000 or less. We're the smallest service academy
Yeah.
between Air Force, Navy, Army. Coast Guard is the smallest. So it was 12 or 13 of us, graduated with a naval engineering degree in 2011. So what, 14 and a half years ago now?
Yeah.
My first assignment, because, hey, you're a naval engineer, like you studied engineering. I went to a Coast Guard cutter out of Portsmouth, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And on there, I was a student engineer initially. So working engine room, all the auxiliary systems, just learning all that stuff, and eventually became the damage control assistant. So that's usually like the second year. You're the student engineer working under the engineer officer, um, who at the time is an O3. When you get on board, you're an O1 or an ensign. And by the time you transfer from your first unit, you're usually a lieutenant junior grade, so an O2. So I did the whole engineering thing. When it came time to put in we call it an e-resume, like my new picks, because I was due to transfer, I put in all law enforcement units, two different units, but the same background. So one was a unit out of Miami here, called Tackle It South, so Tactical Law Enforcement South, which is just counter drug
Yeah.
heavy unit. And then the other one I put in for was the Maritime Security Response Team out of Chesapeake, Virginia, which is a counterterrorism unit. So I
Oh.
ended up getting to Chesapeake, just down. I moved right down the road for 4 years
Oh yeah.
from
Yeah.
Portsmouth, Virginia to Chesapeake. And I did the MSRT for 4 years. So MSRT was very training intensive. You're at the range 4 days a week, shoot house, doing simulations, live fire training. But it was a blast. And it was 4 years of me going to the range with the guys, and you train for something to happen.
What's
Um,
training for?
so it was a counterterrorism unit, and I will offer that the majority or most of the experience that we gained from that unit was better served when we were deployed out in the Middle East. And out there we were doing counter weapons boardings. So they would
Right. So that and that's what I was gonna say. It's not like you guys are doing necessarily land stuff.
right
You know, you're in shoot houses and stuff, but it's the idea is you're boarding boats or you're boarding
exactly.
some other type of ship or something like that. So and so I mean for me and for the other listeners, we're sending the Coast Guard. So like at that time to the other side of the world, to the Middle East to do Coast Guard over there.
Absolutely.
It's nowhere near our coast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So and that's the in my opinion,
Like when
even
you're guarding the Saudi Arabia coast, you know, how are
oh,
their beaches? You know,
so
like
even some coasties, right? They don't even know necessarily what the MSRT did or does,
okay,
which is kind of sad in my opinion. But so when we're stateside, any maritime threat, that unit is capable of responding. When you have your Bravo team, they call it like a B4 status. You're capable of responding within the four. Uh, they call it B4, so a 4 hour notice. So that team is always on call. And I haven't been at that unit in a few years, right? So
so at
it
the
could have
time, that's what it
it could
was.
have
Yeah.
changed slightly. Um, but at the time we had three teams. One team is in like a training status. One team was either um like standing that watch for 6 months, and then the other team was deployed out in the Middle East
Wow.
doing that other mission. So stateside, any short notice maritime response, like they could call on that unit to go do whatever. In the Middle East, we were attached to CTF 55 and Desron 50, which is like destroyer squadron. So they would
So actual naval
correct.
ships. So you guys are on Navy ships.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have the red and white Coast Guard cutter over there in the middle of the Red
Well,
Sea.
we do,
Okay.
but we weren't on those.
Okay.
So out of Bahrain in the Middle East, we do have Coast Guard cutters,
Okay.
and that is a 1 year assignment for
Wow.
those ocean loving,
Yeah.
coasties that are they call them cuttermans.
Seriously, like why not just go in the Navy? If that's I mean,
Right.
it's not like you guys get to pick everything that you do, but like at that point it's the Navy.
they
Kind
get
of.
to work
Essentially,
hand in hand a lot, though. No, the Coast Guard and the Navy.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So out there, we're under, DoD, like Title 10 authorities.
Okay.
So, um, but when a Coast Guard officer or team is on board, that allows the Navy to
Law enforcement.
conduct law enforcement missions. Hey, here's my Coast Guard ensign,
Gotcha.
and then you're
Gotcha.
under Title 14
Similar
type
to
authorities.
like what we do here in the United States, you have a city cop or a sheriff's deputy for the county, but then you've got DEA task, and now you're part of a task force. So now you've
Exactly.
got federal jurisdiction to move around a little bit differently
Yep.
and use your city badge in other counties and all that kind of stuff. So
Exactly.
they're able. Okay, all right. So the coasties are there as kind of to give an umbrella,
Right.
to help out. Okay.
So yeah, we were out there. I think I led a team a little over 6 months. And honestly, it was hands down some of the best experience. I mean, I was in '03, so that was 2016 to 17, 5 years out of the academy,
Mhm.
leading 12 guys. Um, Sometimes it was like coins and patches were our currency to help move around because the Coast Guard presence out there is very little.
And you're saying like you were in the Middle East, you deployed out to the Middle East.
Yep.
So cool. All right.
So, we would base out of Bahrain, and then we would get farmed out to cruisers or destroyers, or work with other units that were also based out there. Hey, Ed, we need you guys to fly to Djibouti, Africa, to go get on this resupply ship to then go meet this cruiser in the middle of the Gulf of Aden, which is like, how are we doing that? Uh, but it was fun, man. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Wow. Wow. And you were how old?
Uh,
In your 20s?
yeah, it was 2016.
Yeah, it was almost 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yeah, like late 20s or mid 20s.
Fun. Yeah.
27, 28.
Prime of your life. Good
Yeah.
times,
Yeah, I had a blast, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool.
Moving around. Very cool. So you did that, and so that your home base was out of Virginia, which is
Chesapeake.
Chesapeake.
Yeah.
There you go. I was like, wait a minute, because I'm thinking Maryland. I was like, no, no, Chesapeake, Virginia. So cool. So you moved on. You did that for 5 years, and then you've kind of moved into other stuff.
Yeah. So my background is, they call it, we don't have like MOSs, like other services,
Right.
they call
Right.
it, like designators. But we are, my background is response ashore officer, they call it. So I'm not underway on ships, not driving the boats, right? But it's more like law enforcement centric missions, like land based positions, I guess. So after Chesapeake, being a team leader there, went to Coast Guard District 7, now Coast Guard Southeast District. They just renamed all the districts
Yeah.
like 2 months ago. So there, it was still response ashore world. I worked in a command center for 3 years, 17 to 20, just managing the operations from like behind the scenes. A command center is essentially a like a 911
Yeah.
call center. So at a district,
Yeah, the guys you see in the movies, that are walking around and they
yeah,
turn around to there's a general in the background and they explain what's going on. A bunch of
essentially.
TV monitors and stuff, and
I mean,
they're
that's how,
watching radars. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
that,
You were
that's
doing that.
essentially how it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, you had two watches, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
yeah.
So did that for 3 years. And it was essentially throughout each district, you have the local sectors. So like Sector Miami, right before you go over to South Beach, you see that little base,
Hmm.
Sector Miami, and then you have St. Petersburg, Jacksonville, Charleston. Like the District 7 AOR is all the way up to Charleston, down elbow of or the armpit of Florida and
Yeah,
the entire Caribbean. So it's very, very big. So anything that pushes out from the sector that they can't necessarily like manage on their own would get pushed up to the district. But as the district, you're overseeing and making sure that the sectors are properly prosecuting every case, be it search and rescue, law enforcement, pollution, you name it. So all the Coast Guard missions, everything would get briefed up to the district, and you brief the admiral um, throughout the course of cases. Um, Essentially, just making sure everything is going smooth. Sometimes you have to call a sector out, like, "Hey, you're not prosecuting this search and rescue case, efficiently or properly outside the guidelines," or we would like check their work to make sure that when you're running a search and rescue case, we have programs that were, you know, if we know the person is 120 pounds, and they're only wearing board shorts and a t-shirt, you can plug it into the program and they're still missing and they drift. So it helps us put these assets in a location other than just, oh yeah, go search these coordinates. Sometimes you find them, sometimes you don't, but it
yeah.
gives you a better probability
That's cool.
to find
Yeah.
someone.
Is District 7 the largest area?
So D7 is one
D7?
of the largest
Good question. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and
you're welcome. I
busiest
just want to know because now he's talking about
yeah,
it. I want to know.
and busiest districts for the Coast
I
Guard.
remember you saying that it was the
I
busiest.
can't remember the exact stat, but they run most of the law enforcement
Right.
and search and rescue in this area. Just, I mean, it's Florida. Like
Yeah,
everybody has a boat.
it's Florida.
Everybody
Yeah,
makes
everybody
dumb
has a,
Yeah.
decisions
and
on their
it's
boats
yeah, and it's all
here.
the crazy Florida. It's everything
Yeah,
crazy. You don't hear much of panhandle
I know it's
drama.
true.
It's like from the armpit south of Florida. You've got the Tampa area, you've got the Keys, huge fishing
Yeah.
area, all that type of enforcement, and then you've got all the drugs moving in from the south coming up.
Yeah.
So, and they're coming in from the boats, and we know the Miami Vice life, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and Coast Guard's a big part of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of
Um,
one of my good friends that I used to work with, he was in that same position, running from the command center, law enforcement. So I'm obviously going to send him this episode, and he'll pick you apart or not.
Yeah.
But he did that before he was a cop with me.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I remember he said just he loved it. He said it was just some cool stuff, totally different than what we do here, terrestrial type stuff. And, you've
Yeah.
got all that maritime activity too.
It was definitely a humbling experience having come from the MSRT. We're active, we're fast roping, we're hook and climbing to get on boats. and all that training aspect. I'm at the range, you know, flat range, doing live fire shoot house for 4 years, 4.5 years almost, and then I go sit in a command center. But it was, you want to see the whole gamut of Coast Guard,
You can
operations,
get it.
right?
You can get it through your system.
Uh,
Does the Coast Guard have a SOF, a special operations? Would you say that is considered like the special
that is
operations?
essentially, I mean, we don't say SOF or special
Yeah,
ops, right? But the MSRT on the East Coast and the West Coast is essentially our premier like law enforcement
yeah,
units.
yeah. I
Um,
won't use the phrase that the big guys use, but like the top tier or the
sure,
higher tier of tactical when it
correct.
comes to
Yeah,
Coast Guard. So they don't have red berets or specialty stuff like that, but
right.
it's the SWAT team for Coast Guard, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you got to, get a little bit of that hoo energy out and have some fun doing that kind of tactical stuff and fun stuff, and then
Yeah, and then
you
I came
bring
to
it
the
back home.
command center and you're standing 12-hour watches, which I've never had this much time off in my life because you would essentially do like 2 or 3 on 12-hour shifts and then
Hmm.
you'd be off. Every few days was like a weekend, it felt like.
Hmm.
So you average like, 14 to 16 watches a month, and then the other time is, for you, if you wanted to go work on extra quals at the sector or somewhere else, you could. Um, but if you're not on watch, you weren't on duty. Um, the night watch was a little rough. And that
Yeah, I'm
6
sure.
p.m. to 6 a.m., I'm sure you've stood
Yeah,
like a night shift. That screws up your whole
yeah.
balance throughout the day. But
Thank God for when Netflix finally became a thing,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
right.
and I could start. And then these phones came out with screens that you could watch, and it was amazing because DVD players, you kind of ran out of DVDs in your life.
Yeah,
I used
right.
to just have like a lunch bag of DVDs in my car, to like watch, Bad Boys to get me like hyped up and stuff. And with a DVD player, or we had the laptops that you
Yeah.
could put a DVD in. But now, God, the kids probably do absolutely nothing all night
I know,
long.
they're just
Yeah.
They
sitting on
probably
the
just
phone.
sit there and just watch
Yeah.
their phone all night long.
But that's
Yeah.
what we
So
bonded over. The nighttime.
did.
The nighttime when
When
we
I was gonna
started
Yeah.
say
dating,
this
that's how we were
started,
bonding.
Yeah.
you guys, I know you guys said like 2020. You've said it's been
2020 we eloped.
5 years. So okay, so you were dating
2019
Yeah.
we met and we're dating.
2019. So yeah,
Yeah.
so cool. Ooh, an elopement. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. The smart way to do
It
it.
was.
The
It
smart
was
way.
quiet. There was 3 people there, 2 hiding like in a restaurant,
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
like
best friend, she was like, I'm gonna watch you get
500
married. And
yards away.
yeah, she was with her.
Binocular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
But
that's we talked about it too. My wife and I said like, should we just elope? But I was the romantic jerk that wanted to do
So
an actual wedding and all that kind of stuff. And
we met online. He was my first date.
yeah.
ever?
I did not like my first date. I never had another date, but I
Oh,
mean, online, I didn't have.
oh, the first time doing one of
I
these
was
like pseudo
single.
kind
Yeah.
of blind
Yeah,
date-ish.
I was single for a really long time. I just wasn't interested. And then when you work in the restaurant industry and you're at a bar, it's like you see a lot of
Yeah.
what you don't want.
Right,
And
right,
so
right.
I just was not interested in anything really at all. I was like, I'm not interested. And a girlfriend of mine kept like probing me. She's like, you're not going to meet anybody unless you go online and
Yeah.
date.
You
And she,
have to go
yeah, I'm like,
online.
well,
Yeah.
I'll meet somebody. She's like, where? I'm like, actually, yeah, like
Not at
where?
work.
Because I don't give any, I was that person that didn't give anybody the time of day. I'd be like, nah,
Yeah.
nobody else. And so I was like, okay, we'll date. We talked a lot for online for a little bit. And then he was like, well, let's go on a date. And then he didn't try to kiss me. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's a first. And then,
Solid. I like it. Hey, slow play. I like it. I
yeah,
like it. Slow play.
yeah.
I slow played too.
Then he asked for my
Yeah.
number and he probably thought I was so weird because I was like, nah, let's
Nah.
keep the conversation in the app because I don't
No,
know. Online,
she
I
played
watch
hard.
all those crime scene
Yeah.
stuff. Like, what if he's gonna follow me and do all these weird things? No, I'm not giving him my number. I was like, he's cute, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then after a while, after bonding over cereal, eating cereal late nights, because
Cereal.
we would get home from work exhausted. I'm not cooking. He would be like, "What are you eating for dinner?" And I'd mess back. I'm having cereal. He's like, "Huh, me too." So we had as our first meal as a husband and wife was cereal
We had cereal on the
on
beach.
the beach at sunrise when we
Nice.
eloped. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Good stuff. That's cool, man. Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, that's kind of a cool way we can wrap this up and get on with it. I mean, unless you guys have anything else you want to add, I mean, I think we kind of ran the whole gamut on some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
I think
What else you got
what
for me?
really highlights this. Um, and we told our broker, it's like, hey, when we're doing this, we want to set the expectation on how we're coming in to Fort Lauderdale. Um, we're the little people. If you're smart about your investments, right, you
Mm-hmm.
can get whatever you want. But setting that expectation, I think, from the start helped, but it didn't help in Fort Lauderdale, right? A lot of people are they want deep pockets.
Are you talking
Um,
about in terms of us
in
leasing the
general,
space,
yeah.
finding a place that would accept us?
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
brand,
we didn't really talk
the
about some of
brand.
those trials and
Yeah,
tribulations.
yeah, so I think offering to people out there, right? If you may not have a lot of millions and millions in the bank, but how we see it, and we're even more thankful, um, as much of growing pains as it is, the military sometimes, it's like it's afforded us this opportunity, if you're smart with your investments,
yeah,
hmm
definitely.
to open up something that you believe in, right? And like I tell a lot of people at work, it's we're not getting rich in the military or as a cop or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
These types of
Service
jobs,
Service
jobs.
jobs, yeah.
Yeah.
right? But be it state, local, federal, whatever it may be, it affords us the opportunity to have a secure
Totally. Yeah.
job, great benefits that will allow us to one day, do something bigger. And I offer a lot of people at work are like, man, how are you guys even doing this? Like, you got a 3-year old, you work here for 12, 13 hours. At the time, the last year and a half, I was working on my MBA, and they're like, how are you even doing all this crap? I'm like, well, I guess when I get home, I'll go write some papers. A beautiful wife that's managing the home
Mhm.
life with our little tyrant of a 3-year
Yeah.
old. But, it can be done. And I think people just sometimes are like, man, I'll start planning for retirement after I get out. But in my opinion, if you set the pieces in place before you take that uniform off, because a lot of people, like you said, hey, that's not necessarily like my 100% identity. Some people are all in, that is all they know.
Yeah.
So when they take that uniform off, they are completely lost,
Right.
and it is very hard to figure out, shit, what the hell am I going to do next? I'm just going to go do federal job.
Yeah.
And nothing
Yeah,
against
I'm just
that,
gonna
right?
I'm gonna put the uniform back on, and
Right.
I get that a lot now, and the regular viewers know that I've got a short time left, and people are like, oh, so what are you gonna go do? You're not doing the drop. What are you gonna go do? You gonna go work somewhere else? I'm like, honestly, I don't want to work for anybody. Like I've tried to practice over the last year at least, since I really kind of knew what I was going to do, like practice finances and like where I'm at and not go too crazy, even though sometimes I do. But understanding that my income's going to be fixed, and then like my wife and I, we try to do like the Dave Ramsey type stuff where we've paid off all of our bills, like our cars are paid off, like our my wife's car is going to be paid off in January, so it's like my car's already paid off. It's like we've got our student loan, then we're going to attack it, and just all
Right.
the money just goes to the attacking the student loan. So in a year and a half we're going to have zero debt, and so all that
Yeah.
money is just going to go to the little bills, like the car bill or the insurance, which is a big bill, the cell
Florida,
phone,
unfortunately.
all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
cable, all that kind of stuff, the normal bills. But like debt bills, we're not paying anything off. And so then we've also in that time saved money. We've got a savings account for trips. So it's like when we go on a trip, that's what we pull from. We've got a savings account for COVID too, like
Right.
like if you lose your job for 3 months, like you've got a 3 month savings, like all those
Right.
kind of things. So, that's our way of preparing for the future, and that maybe eventually we'll invest in something and
Yeah.
try to grow something out of it. Like I'm investing in podcast stuff, like that kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
important for everybody to do that. And that's what you're saying is don't just focus just on your job, and that job you like. I tell people all the time, take these trainings. Like if you've got trainings that the department will pay for you to go, like I did,
Free
Absolutely.
they were
learning,
like,
yeah.
we need a drone pilot. You've got a drone, right? Yeah, I do. Can we send you to go get your license? That way you can use it at work. You bet I can.
Yeah.
And now I can do real estate photography. I take my cameras
Right.
and I do real estate photography. And then I'm like, hey, and I can take drone photos. Cool. So, and the department paid for me to get the license that I can now keep forever.
Yeah.
So use those. If the department will pay for you to get your MBA, go get your MBA,
Let's do it.
or whatever.
Exactly.
You got GI Bill, you can, is that what you used?
No, tuition assistance.
No, same thing.
They
Yeah.
essentially they pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Let them pay for it. You're a better employee for it or a better soldier for it. But, just like you can be a better employee when you've got a, bachelor's, you can finish your bachelor's if you weren't finished with it. If you can go get a master's or something like that. Some departments don't pay beyond master's, or at least they don't give like benefits. Like I've had a benefit, like I've gotten a little bit extra in my check every check for having a bachelor's. So it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
great.
Yeah, and I mean we bring a lot of experience, right? My career, I think I've done something different almost every single time. So D7 Command Center, then I went to Haiti for a year and I worked
Oh, wow.
out of the embassy as a DHS attaché there. Then I went to San Diego and I ran a command center, not just a watchstander. Now I'm at U.S. Southern Command, but all this experience that we gain over the years, again, be it military, law enforcement, whatever, um, it translates over. I'm not just saying like the service industry here, like you gain some kind of leadership experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can easily kind of translate that over to a service-based job like this. We have a team of people
Mm-hmm.
that we're training, to put out a phenomenal product and give great service. But the key is you got to start early. And this is the time where you can take risk,
Mm.
right? Where you're still wearing a uniform, you still have a job.
Yeah.
If this were to fail, crap, that sucked. But you're not out on the street necessarily because we have a safety blanket
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
and
we
the
wouldn't
Coast
be
Guard.
here if it wasn't for your job.
Right. And,
Yeah.
obviously we have other investments that have helped us open this place.
Yeah.
But it's still been a heck of an experience and a ride for sure, to get it open.
And that's one thing that's unique for you is that you're using the Coast Guard as a career. Like you're doing a career
Right.
career path with it. A lot of guys will do the 4-year contract or 4-year stint, similar to like, I went to 4 years of college. They went to 4 years of the army and fought in Iraq. Both benefits, both, do different things for you in your life and stuff like that. But in a career mindset, you have that thing to fall back on, just like I have my pension. I'll have my pension basically to fall back on, which is a great thing. You'll have a pension.
Right.
So it's a nice thing that you'll have that little bit to come in the back end for you, to help you out too.
Yeah.
And you can, and then we're better for it because we've learned so much through all these years of doing all this stuff that you can just roll into a lot of different jobs. And I keep telling it, like they're like, what are you going to do? I don't care. I'll go be a greeter at Walmart and I'll be good at it. I'm pretty sure, they probably won't hire me because I'll be overly qualified,
I'll
but
go work at Costco, get some more benefits and
yeah, like I'll go find some. I've been on LinkedIn for like a year and a half, 2 years now. And it's just amazing to see some of the stuff that I've seen come up that are available or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I could go do that. I could go do that. I could go, but I'm like, no, I think I'm going to try and play this game,
Yeah. And by no means am I saying like, hey, federal jobs or, state, local jobs after you retire from whatever, it's worth it. People love it.
Yeah.
Where I currently work, I think there's something like 2,000 something people that work in that building. And the vast majority are prior military, retired, VA pensions, GS federal employees. So they're making great money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, there's nothing against that.
That's like
Uh,
your dad.
yeah, my
He's
dad did that.
retired.
He was in the Air
Yeah.
Force. He retired after 20 plus years. Then he went and he works for the VA as like a managerial nurse position or something. So you're still a federal employee. Great. Um, Me, I'm just like you mentioned, let's work for ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, and hey, figure it out as it comes.
Yeah.
So
Create your own, work hard and reap the benefits of it and see the fruits of your
Right.
labor and all
yeah,
that kind of
is
stuff
it
and have fun
hard?
with it.
Yeah, it's hard as hell
Yeah.
sometimes. But and I'll never forget this. And I've watched this video probably way too many times. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah.
It's a bodybuilding video, and I sent it to my friends years ago. I think it came out like 4 or 5 years ago. Some motivational workout thing, and the beginning of it starts off with low music, and there's a quote. I think it was by Les Brown.
Mhm.
If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy.
Mhm.
And I don't think I ever talked to you about this quote, but I see it day in, day out with what she tries to instill with our son, um, because she wants to do, let's do the hard stuff,
Mhm.
like no TV, no phone, no
It's so
sugar.
hard.
And
Oh,
it
Yeah.
is
so hard.
hard as hell. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, it's like, damn, I wish I could just come home and turn the TV on so he could just chill for a second and
Yeah.
I can relax.
Yep.
But let's engage, and put into him. But it's the same thing, like where I work or you may have worked. I got offered this position recently to go work for the 4-star admiral at U.S. Southern Command. Everybody's like, dude, that's gonna suck. Do you want to do those long hours? I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna compete for the job. If I get it, I'm gonna go all in. And it is long hours. And then I get home, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock. Our kid's still not sleeping. It is hard, but full wholeheartedly believe, again, like with this, is it hard to get it open? Yeah, it was a pain in the ass. Was it a big investment? Sure. There's a lot of risk. Yes. But at the end of the day, it could pay off handsomely,
Mhm.
as a retirement,
Yeah.
for us, and then something that we can hand to our kid one day and be like, hey, buddy,
Mhm.
we did all this for you. Yeah,
Who
it
now
kicked,
says this is his shop, by
it
the way.
kicked our,
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is
He was like, "Oh,
You.
we're gonna go to my
yeah.
donut shop."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if
Like,
you go
yeah,
look
we
at
will.
the front there, you'll see the shop owner
We have a little
on the
Polaroid picture
board,
of him up
Oh,
on
okay.
the.
Polaroid
Yeah.
picture.
Perfect. Shop
Yeah,
owner.
But
Yeah. Here it is.
and it's
I,
him.
I think that quote resonates, and I've always remembered it. Even it was a Ronnie Coleman video.
Oh yeah.
You heard of
Yeah.
Ronnie
Ronnie
Coleman?
Coleman.
So
Yeah.
it starts off with him. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty great. People are like, what
No,
the
I
heck
mean
is that?
it's totally correct. Like, I mean, challenge yourself, work hard, and it's so much more rewarding in the long run to know that you worked hard to do something rather than you were lazy to earn
Right.
something big.
Right.
Like it means so much more when you worked hard to gain something, and it's a great point. I totally agree with you. So, all right, well, cool. I mean, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty good time. So, well, thank
Thank
you
you.
again. Thanks again. Well, thanks all around to all of it.
Absolutely.
And we will catch you guys on the next one. And see you later. Bye.
Calling all units, calling all units. Donut shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.